Hello friends, I'm Ellen Gormley and welcome back to my channel. Today we're working on the oval and out scarf from One Skein Crochet, and so here is the actual finished scarf from the book, and I'm going to show you some tips on how to make it. Also check the description below because there might be some kits available using this exact yarn that I have below. So check out the description below. So the oval and out scarf. First of all, I have to apologize. In every book, sometimes a few mistakes happen. And in this book, it says to use a G size hook for this quince puffin yarn. And that is just too small of a hook for this big, fat, yummy yarn. So I suggest a size L hook, and I apologize for the error in that, but it's a size L or a size N hook, N using a tighter gauge. Okay, so instead today, I don't have any of the puffin handy, so I'm going to use this lovely bulky chainette yarn that I had in my stash, and I really have no idea where it came from. I cannot remember. If you can identify this yarn, please let me know. Anyway, let's go ahead and look at the pattern, shall we? So the pattern is a multiple of 6 plus 1. So I am going to take this lovely chainette yarn. And the theory behind this one skein book is that every project is made using just one skein. And I want to use up the skein so that there's no leftovers. The theory behind this particular project is to work a long center spine, the length of the project that you want to make, and then you're working an oval, a long oval, until you run out of yarn. So using the quince puffin, you get this when you get the gauge, okay? So if I have no idea how many yards are here, and so I am just going to, if I were to make this project, I would just go ahead and crochet a multiple of 6 for the length that I want-ish. Okay, so let's see what we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 is a multiple of 6 plus 1. So what we'll do is in the back ridge, back bar, back bump, we're going to single crochet in the first stitch from the hook, chain 2, skip 1 stitch, and then double crochet in the back ridge, back bar, back loop of the next 2 stitches. Now it is important to go ahead and use the back bar, back ridge, back bump, whatever you want to call it, because we are going to use the opposite side when we rotate and work back. Let me lower the camera for you so you get a little bit of a closer view. Okay, so we have, here's the number 1. We're chaining the number that we need, a multiple of 6 plus 1 for the turning chain, single crochet in the first chain, skip 1, double crochet, double crochet. So that's where we are. Then we will chain 2, single crochet, 1 in each of the next 2 stitches, skipping 1 in between units, single crochet, no, is it too close? Okay, so then we will chain 2 and repeat this section where we are chaining 2, skipping 1, and we will double crochet 2, 1 in each of the next 2 stitches, that is. And we will work this for the length of our chain. So sometimes when you have a limited amount of yarn, like in this oval and out scarf, this super bulky yarn, the quince puffin, the terracotta color, it's what's actually called sedum is the official name. You don't know how much yarn or how big of a project it's going to make when there's a smaller amount of yardage for the ball. So my recommendation is take what matters to you most. If you're making a scarf and the length matters to you most, then get the length right and then adjust for the width by adding more rounds. If the width is more important to you, then work width-wise and then work the other way. So a different pattern would be useful for that. Okay, when we get to the last 2 chains, we are skipping one, we have chain two, and we are single crocheting in the last chain. So what's tricky about this particular pattern and why I wanted to show it to you, here's what we have so far, is that we're now rotating. So rotating our work, this is the right side facing, we are going to rotate it so that I will now work on the underside of the chains. So we're saying 1, 2, 3, 4. We're actually working in rounds and not rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4 chains. And now we are working in the underside of the work. Okay, so we're basically going to do a symmetrical mirror image and single crochet underneath the single crochet in the unused loops of the foundation row. Chain 2, 1, 2, and under the double crochets, we're going to place 1 double crochet in each of them. So it is sharing the foundation row or the foundation chains with its brother, almost like conjoined twins. Chain 2, skip 1, single crochet, okay? So that is the tricky part of this particular pattern, is working in the foundation. It actually looks like a row pattern, but it's actually worked in rounds. If you think of it as one super long oval motif, that is what we have for this oval and out project. I hope that you are having a relaxing and valuable use of our time with your crochet. For me, I just believe crochet is just a great way to use up our time. We're going to double crochet in the underside of those first couple double crochets of the round. Remember to separate it by a chain 2, and we will finish with a single crochet underneath that first single crochet. And don't forget to chain 1, 2, 3, 4 to join the round. 1, 2, 3, 4. And continue to rotate. So we've now made a nice flat circle. We have not turned. The right side has been facing all along. We're going to slip stitch in that first single crochet. Round 1 is now complete. So it looks kind of like a DNA, doesn't it? A little double helix or whatever you call it. Very cool. So we're working in rounds this way in a nice long oval. So the next round, round 2, is to chain 1. I did that, chained 1, and now I'm going to turn. And now working along the wrong side of the piece, I am going to chain, single crochet in that same first single crochet, chain 2, okay, chain 2, and now we're going to place 9 double crochets in that chain 4 space right here. 9 double crochets. So we are actually turning. They're not worked all on the right side like I had remembered. It's been a long time since I wrote this book, and I guess I should have read the instructions thoroughly ahead of time, instead of relying on my memory. So 9 double crochets go in that double crochet or that chain 4 space along the edge. Let me make sure and have 9 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't have enough yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's get 2 more in there. Chain 2. Now the rest of the round is very similar to the first one. So single crochet in the single crochet, chain 2, double crochet in each of the next 2 double crochets in between my 2 thumbs is where I'm headed. Chain 2, single crochet, meaning 1 in each of the next 2 single crochets, single crochet, there they are. Chain 2, double crochet, and so on. So thank you for hanging in there with me today. Please like and subscribe this video, this playlist. I appreciate it. There are more video supports for patterns from this book in the One Skein Crochet playlist. So if you intend to do more projects because you have the book and you need some help, there are some helps in the tricky parts. And chain 2, because we're getting down to the other end. And chain 2, and then the 9 double crochets in the chain 4 space down here. You can work over your tail now if you want, which is what I'm going to do. 1, 2, 3. I do love working with a nice big hook. If you like projects worked with really big yarn and really big hooks, I do have a one I'll try to link in the description below. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which was not in the One Skein Crochet book, but it is the Corner to Corner Afghan project. It's blue and gray if you happen to see the thumbnail. And you can find everything 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 by, oh, there's a little flaw in the yarn here. Normally I would stop here, cut the knot out, go back and finish the stitch with the new yarn. Then work over the new yarn as much as possible. If I can't begin a new round or row with the new yarn. If you're just doing a one skein project, you want to economize your yarn as much as possible and not like skip back to the start of the round and only use new yarn at that point. You know what I'm trying to say? You got to use as much of the yarn as you can and not waste it. Okay, so crocheting over some tails as I go here. Okay, I hear Theo. I know you guys haven't seen him in a while. Come on in, Theo. Double crochet in the double crochet and double crochet in the next, chain 2, and so we're continuing to work around. At the end of this round, we are going to join with a slip stitch in the first single crochet right here. Let me show you where we are. So this is the wrong side or the back side, but this is what we have so far. Does it look familiar? Just on a much smaller scale. Oh, here comes Theo. He shook the table. Okay, so round 3. Here comes Theo. Beginning round 3, so we finished round 2, we're going to chain 1 and turn, single crochet in the first single crochet, okay, chain 2. Now we are going to do this section here, repeated, back post double crochet, back post double crochet, chain 2, back post double crochet in the next. So here we have our 2 double crochets. We're going to back post double crochet around the first one, chain 2, back post double crochet around the next one, and chain 2 in between our stitches. And now we're going to single crochet these 2 single crochets together. This is the wrong side of the fabric in case you're wondering why they look different. So here's the front side, here's the back side, because remember we turned. Insert your hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop, insert your hook in the next stitch, pull up a loop. With 3 loops on our hook, we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3, tying the 2 single crochets together. Chain 2, and then we will continue with the back post double crochet, chain 2, back post double crochet around the next 2 double crochets, chain 2. And we will single crochet again together, 2 together, these 2 stitches that are between my thumbs to target where we're going. Insert your hook in the first one, pull up a loop, insert your hook in the next one, pull up a loop. With the 3 loops on the hook, now we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. Okay, chain 2, and do that same back post double crochet thing that we had been doing all along around those double crochets. And just single crochet in the last single crochet, chain 2, Now we will back post double crochet around each of the back of the double crochets and chain 2. So that's 1. We're going to do this 9 times because we're going to do around each post. Okay, so around the next post, I will back post double crochet and then chain 2. And this is this end of the project right here. This is what we're making, this little horseshoe shape. And you see the little horseshoe shape forming here. Back post double crochet, chain 2, back post double crochet, chain 2, and so on. You can use any yarn for this project. Just match the hook with the yarn that you have chosen if you do not end up choosing the big bulky yarn. The big bulky yarn allows you to have a quick result and get a nice substantial piece just using 4 rounds. The thinner the yarn, the thinner the scarf that you're going to have. If you like a super skinny scarf, then use tiny yarn. All right, so chain 2 to end and a single crochet in the single crochet, and then we will do the same row or side of the long scarf that we used on the other side. So double crochet, back post double crochet, chain 2, back post double crochet around in the next double crochet. Got it? Chain 2. I will have to weave in this end just a little bit. That's okay. But you can see this nice texture is now being formed similar or exactly the same, rather. It's just you see it differently in a different color. And that is where we are headed. Single crochet 2 together or single crochet decrease, same thing. I like the single crochet 2 together terminology better because I feel like it's more descriptive of what actually happens. And single crochet in the last single crochet, chain 2, and then work that lovely horseshoe shape with the back post double crochet, chain 2 around each of the spokes, each of the double crochets of this end, the turning end. And that's what creates that cool texture, is the back post double crochets. So much fun. Now, if you have a ton of yarn left over, this is meant to be a 1 skein project, and it did indeed use 1 skein if you use the prescribed suggested yarn and the suggested gauge. But if you choose to change your yarn and you choose to use a ball of yarn that has more yardage, what you can do is continue in the same spirit of these stitches. So it will require you to be a little bit creative and have a little bit of fun and figure out how you're going to add more stitches to this round to make it go bigger and bigger and bigger until you run out of yarn, if your goal is to use up the whole ball of yarn that you have. I would suggest on the next round adding 3 chains in between each of these to give the turn, and then all of these side rows can be the same. Okay? As you can see on this finished project, I did not do the slip stitches all the way around, and it still looks really fantastic. So you can add the slip stitches on round 4, or you can end with round 3. Either way, it makes a great scarf, and I hope you enjoy making one for yourself, for someone you love. All right, so join with a slip stitch in that first single crochet, and now this 4th row, we're not actually turning. We are going to continue to work on the right side. We're going to slip stitch in every stitch, and in every chain 2 space, one time around. So we're going to slip stitch into the chain 2 space, slip stitch into the stitch, slip stitch into the space, slip stitch into the stitch, slip stitch into the space, slip stitch into the stitch, and so on. If you do not have enough yarn, you can leave off the round 4 and just finish your scarf with just the round 3. But if you have more yarn and you want to use it up, then you can slip stitch just like this all the way around. It gives it just a little bit more texture, a little bit more of a border, and is a lot of fun and a great way to tie up the rest of the project. So then you'll just slip stitch in the first stitch and fasten off. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation of One Skein Crochet. This is the oval and out scarf, and I will see you in the next One Skein project video.